under the Bush administration, he put together that national registry, which applied to men over the age of 16 from nations that were considered, quote, havens for terrorists. Obama suspended the program in 2011 after sustained legal by civil rights groups. And now Chris Kobach is suggesting Trump brings it back. His proposition was bolstered last night by another Trump supporter who went on Fox News and said such a registry would, quote, pass constitutional muster, citing Japanese internment camps as precedent.
We've done it with Iran back a while ago. We did it during World War II with Japanese, which, you know, call it what you will, maybe wrong.
You're not proposing we go back to the days of internment camps, I hope.
No, I'm not proposing that at all, Megan. But what I am saying is that we need to protect America.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that gets people scared, Carl.
Right. But I'm just saying there is precedent for it, and I'm not saying I agree with it, but in this case, I absolutely believe that a regional base...
You can't be citing Japanese internment camps as precedent for anything the president-elect is going to do.
Look, the president needs to protect America first, and if that means having people that are not protected under our Constitution have some sort of registry so we can understand, until we can identify the true threat and where it's coming from, I support it.
That prompted this reaction from Senator Harry Reid when I sat down with him today.
I saw that. I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know what to say. These are not outliers. These are people who are Trump big-time supporters.
Joining me now, Democratic Senator Mazie Hirono of Hawaii, immigrated here from Fukushima, Japan, when she was 7 years old. And Senator, I want to start with a statement from the President-elect's office from Jason Miller saying President-elect Trump has never advocated for any registry or system that tracks individuals based on their religion. To imply otherwise is completely false. The National Registry of Foreign Visitors from countries with high terrorism activity that was in place during Bush and Obama administrations gave intelligence and law enforcement communities additional tools to keep our country safe. The President-elect plans on releasing his own vetting policies after he is sworn in. What's your reaction?
There are people who are very close to President-elect Trump, the most recent being the person that you just featured, saying things as the internment of Japanese Americans in World War II is a precedent for a registry. Targeting of minorities of ethnic, on the basis of ethnic and religious backgrounds is not okay in our country. And in fact, the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II was a very, very dark part of our country's history, and it should not serve as a precedent for anything other than it should never happen again.
How are you interpreting the signals that have come from this administration or next administration that as it gets together in terms of the ways that it's thinking about, quote, keeping the country safe? You saw in that quote he said he has to do whatever to keep the country safe. And I think about what that might look like, particularly in times of crisis. After a terrorist attack abroad, then-candidate Trump called for a ban on all Muslims. He's since walked that back. What does that say to you?
It says that we haven't learned what happened during World War II, where Japanese Americans were targeted again on the basis of this would keep our country safe. And that was wrong. It was wrong, wrong, wrong. Have we not learned anything? So we still have the constitutional protections that should apply to all of us. This is not, our Constitution is not contingent on what race or ethnic background or religious background you have. It applies to all of us. And so to cite the World War II internment as a basis on which we should start registering Muslims is frightening.
I just want to clarify here. I mean, they're saying this registry existed. It was brought into, under George W. Bush. It's for non-U.S. citizens, visa holders who are coming to the country. He was citing Korematsu, which is the famous Supreme Court decision that allowed for the internment camps as legal precedent, and which still, we should note, is still good law. Which gives
it is not. Actually, it's not good law because Korematsu has been overturned.
Okay.
I know the attorneys who worked on that case.
So let me ask you this, Senator. Your colleagues are making different sounds right now about how they're going to encounter a President Trump. And the thrust has been on the stuff we agree we'll work with him, on the stuff that is bigoted or that we disagree we'll fight him tooth and nail. And I guess my question to you is, can you really separate those? If you think that this is a person capable of doing something truly offensive to our most basic and cherished constitutional liberties, could you work with him on an infrastructure bill if he then turns around the next day and proposes the Muslim registry bill?
Well, that means that when he comes up with things such as a Muslim registry, then we're going to fight him. But if he wants to work with us against Paul Ryan's plans to privatize Medicare and Social Security not being far behind, we can certainly work together on that, because that has been a bedrock of the Democratic position. So as much as possible, I personally am going to make sure that on those areas where we are totally against, what we need to be against Donald Trump, then we're going to be against it. And my concern is that we should not be chipping away at the values that we hold dear just so that we can get certain things passed that we hold near and dear. And that may be one of the ways that some people would want to proceed. You know, the divide and conquer, and let's just put in some really horrible things to get our support on those things that we do agree on. I think that is a very dangerous, slippery slope. And as far as I'm concerned, where the xenophobia and racism and white supremacy and those kinds of notions where they're ugly as, I will be fighting those kinds of initiatives tooth and nail.
All right, Senator Mazie Hirono, thanks.